Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my garden. I'm Devin. I garden here in Zone 7B, Maryland. It is a very wet and soggy morning. We have had a lot of rain, a lot of storms moving through really this whole summer. It's been a very unusual summer. I feel like the past few summers have been very dry and not much rain, but this summer it's been hot and humid and we've had a lot of rain and a lot of storms. So a lot of my things are waterlogged. My hydrangeas are flopping to the ground. My Rose of Sharon hedge over here is looking pretty floppy right now. I had to do a lot of trimming on that yesterday. So just a lot of things maybe not looking their best, but I wanted to walk you around. I'm about getting ready to leave for a few weeks off and on for different trips and things, and I'm sure that by the end of all those trips things might need a little bit of work and maybe won't be looking their best. So I wanted to be sure to get in a garden tour. I think that I'll also try to get in a container tour just so you can see what I've put in my containers before I leave. So fingers crossed I can get that done, and we'll just see what's happening here at the beginning of July. And I do apologize, I am mic-less today. After my last video, I had a piece in my pocket, an important piece that plugs into my phone, and it must have fallen out or I misplaced it somewhere. I can't find it. So I don't know what I'm gonna do, if I'm gonna be able to find a replacement part or if I'll eventually have to buy a new one, which I really don't want to because they're expensive. But if you could just bear with me and the sound, it might be a little hard to hear me at times, but I'll try to keep the phone as close to me as possible. So let's just start walking around my backyard and see what's going on. Okay, we'll start out here where I usually like to start, in my main flower border here. Things are looking quite beautiful despite being a little bit waterlogged. I'll bring you over here first to my Ovalisk bed that is very slow to take off this year. For whatever reason, my Stick Spires Blue Salvia are being really slow to get going, but I think that they're finally starting to put on some growth. You can see that there's lots of buds on the way, and the bees are actually just starting to find it. They've been all over my agastache over in my main flower border, but they're just starting to find this. So I am happy about that. Hopefully that gets going soon. And I have some sunflowers, my only sunflowers that I got going this year. For some reason, I just did not have luck with seed starting this year for certain things. So that was one of them. I have hollyhocks that have been eaten down by rabbits. Every night that I come out here, almost with the dogs, I see them back in here eating down these hollyhocks. This is the only one that I think might flower, but it's not been a good year for them for sure. And my zinnias, I did just come in and trim these back yesterday just to kind of encourage them to be a little bit fuller, a little bit more bushy of a plant. But for some reason, the seeds did not take super well in this area. You can see I have a lot of bare spots, and I did try reseeding. However, I think I had too much mulch on the ground and the seeds just did not take. So unfortunately, my zinnia patch is looking very sparse this year. I'm hoping that maybe I did seed some in a container, hoping that maybe those take off and I can transplant them into this area. Otherwise, we're just gonna kind of have a spotty zinnia patch this year behind my boxwood hedge. I did go ahead and remove my sweet peas that I had growing up my Ovalisk here. I'll try to insert a video of what they looked like. They weren't doing super great. They were not loving the heat. They were getting brown and crispy and never flowered very good for me this year. I'm not sure if it was a fertilizer issue or what, but I did go ahead and remove them, and I added in these two purple hyacinth bean vines that I do have protected from the rabbits. Otherwise, they would nibble them straight to the ground. So I'm hoping that it's early enough in the season that these can really take off, and then by the fall, they hopefully will be climbing up this Ovalisk and all along this back wall, which they did do last year. So for this area, I am thinking that I might want to revamp it a little bit. I really would love to add a tall boxwood right here and maybe another tall boxwood down at the end there, just to provide some more structure. And then maybe something climbing up the middle here. These do need straightened out. They're kind of all over the place, my trellises back there. But I'm thinking like a honeysuckle vine, or some kind of a clematis, or maybe a rose climbing up my obelisk right there would be really pretty. I'm not sure. And then these Mystic Spires blue salvia are a borderline perennial for us. So this year they did not come back, but last year they did, and they were gorgeous last year. This year, that's why they're so small. But I'm just debating in my head if I would like to put in a more hardy perennial in this bed, like butterfly bush or something similar with a spiky, kind of shape to it, but something that will reliably come back and still attract lots and lots of butterflies and bees and just all of the pollinators. So I don't know. If you have any thoughts or suggestions, ideas, let me know. Walking down, this is sadly one of my hydrangeas that have just completely flopped. This is the Limetta hydrangea. I had never had such an issue with these until this year. They have gotten a lot bigger than in the past. I think this is maybe their 4th year. So they definitely have a lot more size on them, but they are, what I'm discovering, not a very sturdy hydrangea, unfortunately. So maybe not the best hydrangea if you are looking for something that is sturdy. You can see how it's just all splayed out in the middle there. I will have to figure out some kind of a better support system for these next year. I don't want to remove them, but they are flopping almost similar to my Annabelles, which I will show you down there. These I am loving. These are the Concoleus that have taken several prunings from my dogs who have trampled them a couple of times, but they have just come back like champs, and they are so cute. The leaf, look at this. I'll put my hand up next to it, but it's almost, I would say, rivaling like a hosta leaf. It's so big. Oh, and it's also getting a flower right there, which I probably will come in and chop off so that they don't flower quite yet, but I will let them flower towards the end of the season. My crepe myrtle needs trimmed. You can see all the suckers coming up off the bottom there, but I am really liking these Concoleus and that bold texture they add right here. Last year I had some similar color, but they were a lot smaller of a leaf and just didn't show up quite as well. So I really like those this year. And another floppy hydrangea, another limetta. Look at that. I don't know if I'll try to come in and support that with some stakes for the remainder of the season, or just kind of let it go. This is a denim and lace Russian sage, looking beautiful. You can see the beautiful purple it adds right here, and it just provides this color all season. I see a dead piece right there that needs removed. Just a staple for me. I have a couple more, actually 3 more out on the other side of my house. Look at what this little bee is doing. I hope he's okay. Hi, Rosie. This is Rosie, one of my dogs. She loves to jump up on this furniture. I'm just checking out this bee, Rosie. Aw. I hope he's okay and just maybe taking an early morning nap or something. I just love seeing all the bees in my garden. So let's walk around my patio here. You can see right down here, I have a whole pile of Rose of Sharon cuttings. My Rose of Sharon flopped big time a couple days ago after one of our bad storms, so I had to come in and really trim them up. The only bad thing about those is how floppy they can get, which I didn't really realize would happen after I had put them in. There's Mr. Oliver up there, my daughter's sunbathing pool. That's the blue thing in the background. This is where I keep a lot of my vegetables. I'm doing some container vegetable gardening, which I'll leave for my container my container tour in a couple days here, but you can see that I have a lot of things set up on my little potting bench back there. I'm looking for, we still have my son's graduation sign from his graduation party, but I'm looking for some things to put on this bare wall. I think I'm gonna hang this star on the back wall here and just keep my eye out for some different like whimsical cottagey type things to hang back there. I love the kind of cottage feel back here, and I love to just utilize kind of rustic items and things that just bring a lot of character and warmth and coziness to this space. Over here are these incredible sunflowers, which I believe are called the Sun Incredible sunflowers. They are a proven winners plant that are just really doing fantastic this season. You can see how prolific they are. They have taken off and just blooming their heads off like crazy. I kind of come in and continually deadhead them to keep them looking their best, but just a fantastic plant, just kind of in front of that bird bath there that the birds have been really enjoying with the hot summer temperatures. And that's Mr. Oliver in the background. If you hear a dog barking, it's usually Oliver, my Cavapoo, the red-haired doggy. Let's see if I can get a picture of him quick. There's Mr. Oliver. He's the loudmouth of the bunch. But you sure are cute, buddy. Yeah. And as I was saying, the Suncredibles are looking fantastic this year. And in front of them, I grew all of these from seed. I planted this hedge of basil. This is the purple opal basil, I think it's called. They were super easy to grow. I winter sowed them in containers, and I kind of plucked them out of the containers. I'm sorry about all the poles in the way here. And then I planted them in individual pots for a little bit. And then once they were big enough, I planted them out as a hedge right here. And I think that they are coming in fantastic. I put this little fence here just so that my dogs wouldn't run right through this bed, which they had been doing and just trampling everything. You can see that I have some raspberry ripple zinnias down here that are finally starting to take off. This is one of my favorite things to grow from seed. They get beautiful kind of candy cane striped flowers, pink and white on them, and are just gorgeous. I love them. The rabbits don't touch them. They are basically like pest resistant. The bugs don't like them. Just a great plant. And up above them, some more things I grew from seed are these cosmos. Don't mind all the piping in the background. I planted a boxwood right there to try to conceal some of that piping, but look at these beautiful cosmos. This is one variety that my daughter had picked out that is just really looking pretty right now. They're just starting to put on flowers. Super pretty. So lots of cosmos on the way. Beautiful sunflowers, just loving those. Let's take a walk over here to my main border and see what's blooming over there. Just gonna take a walk, give you a quick sneak peek of the border. It's looking really pretty right now. Some things are starting to kind of fade away, and some things are just starting to come into their own. Like this patch of cosmos right here that is just starting to put on some blooms. Now this is the same cosmos as the other one that I showed you, the darker purple, but it's coming out more of a whitish purple. So it's interesting how they all have different colors. This is the candy stripe variety of cosmos. I have a limelight prime hydrangea that is just starting to put on some buds. I really thought that this bloomed earlier last year. I'm not sure why it's blooming so late this year, and the blooms right now at least look pretty small to me, so I'm not quite sure what's going on with that, but we'll see how it unfolds as the season goes along. And now this is looking fairly waterlogged right now, but this has been one of my favorite plants the past couple weeks. Oh my goodness, I love it. This is a phlox, and this is a Monrovia, which I am sorry, I cannot remember the name of. I got this on clearance at Lowe's a few years ago, and this is the first year that I've gotten it to bloom because the rabbits have eaten it down every other year. But this year I managed to protect it from the rabbits, and I am so glad I did. It is so beautiful. Love that vibrant. It's like almost like a pinky salmon color. It is so pretty. And right behind that is a milkweed that I have not seen a whole lot of action on yet. It's just starting to kind of bloom. I haven't seen any caterpillars. I'm hoping to attract some more butterflies, monarchs in particular, into my garden. I have not seen much activity on the milkweed yet. This baby Joe pieweed should attract a lot of pollinators as well. It's just starting to bloom out, not quite yet, but once that starts blooming, that will attract a lot of bees and hopefully butterflies. My herb container is doing pretty well right down here. Some basil that just is continually taking off, and thyme. This is a ornamental oregano. This is called Kent's Beauty oregano, and you can see that it is just starting to kind of put on those beautiful tiny little purple flowers that it gets, and the tips of it just kind of turn this really chartreuse color. I just love it. I think it's so pretty. It's not edible, but it just adds really nice little, something different to the herb container right there. My pink finca is slow to take off, but is doing pretty well down here at the base. And daisies right now are the star of the show. This patch has gone crazy this year, looking very beautiful. Probably can divide that this next even fall. And one of my qualms, which I say this every year, are my black-eyed Susans. I believe these are the Goldstrom variety. They're not yet blooming, but they look like they'll be blooming really soon. They get so floppy for me in this border. They spread like crazy. They get so floppy. So I'm really thinking about taking those out and replacing with maybe a variety like the Deems coneflower. It's Rudbeckia diamii, I believe is how you say it. It stays a lot sturdier, and it attracts a lot more pollinators. So I may see if I can get my hands on some of those and replace whatever this variety is. I'm assuming it's Goldstrom. You can see the bees are already loving this agastache this morning. They have been all over this plant. This has gone crazy this year. I just put this in last year. So I will have a lot of controlling on this plant to do over the years, but that is okay. They love it. This is just the native variety of agastache. My bee balm behind it is on its way out. Oh, there's a bee. Oh my goodness, it's sitting on my phone. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, I think that really took me off guard. It just landed on my phone and my finger and was just sitting there. I really didn't know what to do, so I just kind of let it fly away. got a little confused. But anyway, this is my Jacob's Klein bee balm that the hummingbirds have loved. It is unfortunately on its way out, which I'm definitely gonna miss this pop of red behind the purple here. I wish that it lasted longer. I didn't realize it would be so short-lived, but it's worth it with how it attracted the hummingbirds for me. I've seen many hummingbirds on it. Unfortunately, I don't think I've seen one yet this morning. I love attracting those to my garden, but they will also really like these Rose of Sharon behind me, which you can see, by the way, are still a little bit floppy. See how they're just sticking out over the border here. I really have to keep on top of them. This is the purple pillar Rose of Sharon. Maybe not the best hedge if you want a really low maintenance hedge, because they do require a lot of maintenance as far as just trimming back when storms hit and heavy rain hits. They just want to flop right over. So they are beautiful, but not maintenance free for sure. After I tied up my Rudbeckia, I kind of freed up this coneflower a little bit that has been struggling to survive. This is a Patio pink coneflower just hiding back in there, but another reason I really need to do some editing in this bed come the fall probably. I have some cat's pajamas, Nepeta right there that is basically out of bloom but still looking pretty. Ladies mantle, adding some really nice texture to the front here, and just kind of repeated that down the border. I have some Nymphophea here that is also kind of on its last leg, I would say, unless it decides to rebloom, but this has just been a fun pop of orange in the front here with like a grassy texture just to kind of mix things up a little bit. Another floppy patch of Rudbeckia right here. You can see, I'll show you down in how badly it flops. If you can see how it's just laying on the ground basically, and I just have to, you know, support it as best as I can. This patch of coneflower is looking beautiful. A powwow, it's the wildberry coneflower, powwow wildberry, so pretty. And my experiment with Verbena bonariensis has been a little hit or miss. I've had to stake it up. It's been also just flopping all over the place. Maybe next year if it reseeds itself, it'll be a little bit better, but we'll just have to see. This is some more, I had some purple basil down the way too, but this is another purple basil. I just kind of dotted these throughout the front border, adding a nice color, a nice red color here. Some vinca that is not blooming. And my patch of Helen Weinstein lambs here is looking kind of rough after all of the rain that we've had. It just really hasn't loved all the rain. It does best in more kind of hot and dry conditions, not a lot of moisture. So I'm hoping that, you know, if things dry out a little bit, that they will start looking a little bit better, but at the same time, I'm not wishing away the rain either. So I might just have to deal with some soggy lambs here. And look at the little lime hydrangea behind it. It's looking so pretty. It's really, now this is doing a lot better than the limelight prime I have down the way, but this is looking like it's gonna be a good year for this. It's beautiful, it's sturdy so far, hasn't flopped at all. I will take that for sure. And some more repetition of my perennials. Look at, this is a verbena that is getting some blooms on it. Verbena bonariensis. Really just wanted those to attract pollinators. Another little patch of vinca that's looking very happy right here. Coneflower that's struggling. And this patch of agastache is enormous. I can't even believe that I just put this in last year as a little tiny plant. So look at all the bees. Just loving it. Loving it, loving it. And here is a verbena that is blooming, looking super pretty. Against the purple agastache, purple and purple, but yeah, very, very pretty. Have some more vinca down there that is looking pretty. Hopefully it starts to put on some size soon in front of another red basil. And unfortunately, this is a stargazer lily hiding back in here. It has not bloomed yet. I don't know why, if it's not getting enough sun. I'm gonna be moving this next year because, for one, the rabbits keep getting it in this spot and it just doesn't do well. It hasn't thrived very well in this location. So that was one of my daughter's picks and she really wants to see it bloom. So I'll be moving that. More cosmos. Look at this, it's about to open. Not pretty. And my wee white, I have a weed here. My wee white hydrangeas still looking pretty good, getting a little crispy. This is what happens when it gets super hot. They start to get a little crispy and turn a little bit brown. I could come in and deadhead them and they might put off some new blooms, so I may try to do that. There's a little bee trying to get some pollen or some food. And a little bench kind of being swallowed up by the hydrangeas. But I will say the wee whites have remained sturdy and upright and not flopped at all. So that is a good hydrangea for storms for sure. Some storm-proof hydrangeas. So things are looking pretty. Definitely a little waterlogged and not perfect, but overall, I just really am enjoying this whole border this year, especially these Agastache and the bee balm. So pretty, and some work to do for the upcoming fall, but that's okay. That's how it goes. That is gardening. So let's take a little shift around this way. Walk you past my patio here. And you can see some containers that I'll show you in my upcoming video. I'll give you a little bit better look at those. Past my green giants and underneath these birch trees, which you can see have dropped leaves everywhere. It looks kind of more like fall around here than the middle of summer, but this is what happens with the birch trees. They, as soon as like it gets really hot and they're not getting enough water, they start to just shed their leaves. So they are a beautiful tree, but also a messy tree. They are not our trees, but they are our neighbors, but we love them. They do provide some really nice shade over our yard. Just a little bit of reprieve from the bright sun, but yes, they do get messy and they do drop a lot of branches. I'm gonna take you right over here quick and show you this pulmonaria because I think it's looking so good, so pretty right now. This is the pink and blue pulmonaria. It's a proven winter's plant, but it gets the most gorgeous pink and blue flowers in the springtime. And then you're left with these beautiful leaves for the rest of the season. Aren't they so pretty? I really, really love them. This is just a skip laurel hedge that we have here around our hot tub that is putting on some growth. It might need trimmed again soon with all of the rain that we've gotten. I'm going to show you my sad Annabelle hydrangea hedge in a minute. These hosta are doing really well, putting on lots of growth and their flowers, which I think look kind of pretty right now. Some people might cut them off, but I think that they look really pretty and they're really good for pollinators, for the bees, hummingbirds. So I'm just leaving them there. Have some impatiens here that are looking good, that are starting to finally grow with all the moisture that we've had. And a camellia. These heuchera, this is the wildberry heuchera, are also really taking off and looking pretty. Love how they contrast with that variegated leaf on the hosta. And I just kind of filled this area with these impatiens that really add nice color to the shady area. I have a clematis here. This is the pink clematis. This gets a lot more shade than the other one, so it's not filled out like the other one, but it is getting a bloom on it. So hopefully in the years to come, it'll kind of catch up a little bit. It may never flower quite as much as my other one, but I think that it's still probably worth keeping. And this is my very sad looking Annabelle hedge. This is what happens with the Annabelles when you get super heavy rain, bad storms. I have been very lucky that this has not happened to me yet, but this is probably their 4th year and they've just gotten massive. And we've had some really heavy rain. So you can see that they have just completely splayed open in the middle and are just falling all over my, I have this grass. This is the Japanese forest grass, Hakanakloa grass, and all over my impatiens down here. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do at this point, if I'm gonna try to tie these up and kind of attach them to the fence back there. But these do really make me second guess wanting these. really wanting them at all because I don't have any other great places for them. I was thinking of moving them to my front porch. However, now that I see that this happened, I'm gonna be probably more thinking about the Incredible that I have out front that are a little bit sturdier, or just some other really just with a similar look but a sturdier structure. An Incredible comes to mind. I know that there have also been some other new introductions recently for sturdy hydrangeas that are similar to the Annabelle. So that is my conundrum with my Annabelles. But look at this. My shade garden here is looking quite pretty. I'll show you this pink mint clematis right here is still putting out blooms. Just these sweet little pink blooms that it gets. It also is a little bit droopy right now, but it was filling out this whole top of my Ovalisk very nicely. It looked beautiful. And this is really just one of my favorite gardens this year. I keep saying in my videos, but I'm really enjoying it. My sun king Aurelia down here has really started to put on growth. I planted some astilbe in front of it that I will eventually have to move. It will crowd them out too much, but for now I just kind of put them right there. They're not blooming yet. I have one columbine flower that is still hanging on, and the rest are fizzling out. You can see this, they kind of, lose their leaves. They all turn brown and a little bit unsightly, but I'm just kind of letting it happen naturally as they die back, and hopefully they're reseeding themselves so that they will come back next year. My foxglove are going to seed, which I can come in and I can let them drop seed, or I can come in and try to get seed from these little brown pods right here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you the seeds easily. Whoops. You might be able to see some seeds on my fingers, but these little brown pods are filled with seed, and it's best to do when they're dry. Right now they're a little bit soggy, but when they're dry, I may come in and try to collect some seed and reseed some in a container just to ensure that I have plenty of foxglove for next year. One of my other favorite hostas is this autumn frost hosta. It gets these sweet little kind of lilac blooms. So pretty. I have 3 of them right in the front here. And then some more wildberry heuchera. And my lamium's doing pretty well. The rabbits have not eaten it too badly, so I'm hoping that it can really take off and spread throughout this whole front area here. Really let those heuchera show off. Oftentimes the heuchera, they just kind of blend into the soil when they're that dark of a color, so like planting that contrasting color around them really helps. As well as the chartreuse. This is the Wiggles and Squiggles hosta. I think that is so fun. It's getting a little flower on it too. And just some more of these variegated Patriot hosta, and that's a bleeding heart right there. A gold heart, bleeding heart. And foxglove. These are the autumn brilliance fern that are, I just love the colors they put out all year. They kind of give an autumny vibe for sure all year, but then also have that lush green to them as well. So pretty. And underneath my serviceberry, I have all of these hosta that really do need divided next year, and a Casablanca lily that I also need to move because it's really flopping and I don't believe it's getting enough sun back here. But I have this wee hosta that is being crowded out by my ferns. Some other hosta mixed back in here, some elegans and blue halcyon right there. My you can kind of see my sweet talker viburnum hedge back there is starting to really put on some growth. Hopefully that will rise up and create a nice hedge along kind of the backdrop of this bed. And just a repetition, I also have a anemone back in here that looks like it's doing okay. I transplanted that from the front and it just got too big. As a September charm anemone that will get really pretty pink flowers in the fall. And a beautiful Woolala hosta right here that I definitely want to divide and just kind of add around some of my shadier borders. I love this hosta. I think it is so pretty. And that is how things are looking in my shady bed right here. I'm very happy with it this year. I think it's really turning out beautiful. So let's walk down this side of my yard. I'm gonna show you these little side beds. I'm not gonna take you for a front yard tour today, but I am loving how that front bed is looking. You can kind of see a sneak peek right there. I did want to show you, this is my purple smoke bush. This is the smaller version of the full-size smoke bush. This is a Proven Winners plant, the Winecraft black smoke bush. It's looking really nice, and it did actually leap up, gosh, probably like 6-7 feet up here. So I did cut it down. I am just trying to keep it size controlled for this little space in front of my hose link. And I added in these sweet little Everillo Carex grasses right here. I just love that chartreusey color on them. I think that they're so pretty. I'm excited to see those grow. I did put some creeping thyme in along this pathway here. However, some of it is just not taking. I deal with this every year. For some reason, the creeping thyme is really hard for me to get going. I don't know why. Let me know if you've had success with it. It's all, like you can see, it pretty much died there, there, and there. So I really want to fill this whole little area out with ground cover. I have this beautiful perennial geranium right here, but was really hoping for something different on this side with the thyme. It's been really tricky for me, so I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with that. But over here is my holly bed. The hollies are really putting on growth this year, and I have some super beautiful coneflower. This is one of my favorites this year. This is the Summer Song Firefinch coneflower, a Proven Winners one. It is so pretty. I just love that. And then I think this is Powwow White and Powwow Wildberry right back in there. But oh my goodness, so pretty. I have some roses that are coming and on their way. I did go through and deadhead most of these, although I missed some right there, just to encourage them to really put on some new buds. There's a pretty bud right there. It's a great, great hydrangea. Mr. Oliver, what are you doing up there? He is digging in my zucchini plant. Ollie, hey, leave it. So I just spent maybe 10 minutes talking to you after I yelled at the dogs, just showing this part of my garden, and realized that my video was not rolling. So I hate it when that happens, but I'm gonna start over and bring you out here. I was showing you my incredible hydrangeas and just how much sturdier they are than the Annabelles that I have in the back there. I have some stakes in the front here, but besides that, they really are doing well. They have not splayed open in the middle, and as you can see, they get no coverage from trees or anything. So, you know, they had the heavy rain beating down on them. So this is definitely something I would consider for my front porch if I decide to put hydrangeas out there. They are kind of shading out my impatiens, so my sun patience. So I really probably don't need to do sun patience here next year. The hydrangeas are quite enough to fill out this space. And let's walk in and just see what all this is looking like. I already showed you my coneflower, and I was showing you my rose. my sedum. This is the Autumn Joy sedum that is doing awesome. I propagated this from mother plants over by my air conditioner, and they have just taken off. This is probably their second year, I want to say, but just such an easy plant to propagate. I actually have more cuttings on my porch to add in. I think on the other side there, I'm going to put a little hedge of sedum in front of that holly right down there. I think that would be really, really nice to kind of continue this hedge of sedum. I have some red sunflower. This is the Pro Cut Red that I'm hoping will grow. Like I said, I had bad luck with seeds this year. Just didn't have time and energy to really pour into them. This is a honeysuckle, a Sensation honeysuckle, a Proven Winners honeysuckle that gets these pretty red berries after it's done flowering. And it will, you can see all of this new growth. I need to move this probably. This is what I was thinking for over by my Ovalisk on the other side that I was showing you at the beginning. It is getting some more flowers on the new growth, but yes, it is a prolific grower and needs a lot of room and space to really do its thing. So, oh, right down here, I see I have this yarrow that I recently put in. This starts off a really pretty pink, and it fades to this kind of like antique-y white color. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this grows for me over the next few years. See if I can start dividing it and spreading that around a little bit. My lavender, I don't think I showed you that in my last video clip. I did cut it back. I'm not sure if I should have done that or not yet. I guess I was hoping that I could maybe get some rebloom on it, but I really am not sure that I will. So. But I do, I will try to keep cutting it back hard just so it doesn't get too woody. If you don't cut your lavender back hard, it can get like really woody stems and just kind of become a little more woody looking and not quite as like soft and like just, I don't know, I just don't like that. It just kind of looks old and not as pretty. So I just try to cut it back really hard. My ageratum is really starting to take off down here. And then I don't believe I showed you these zinnias. These are Fire Perfusion zinnias that I grew from seed that are also really starting to do well. The rabbits don't care for them. Bugs don't care for them. Just a really nice zinnia to have in the border. And I don't think I showed you the rutabaga. This is American Gold Rush that has been eaten down by rabbits. You can see these have not been touched, but they have gone all over these. I'm hoping that I will still get some blooms. I see some blooms right back in here. Yes. Although the foliage looks pretty sad, but that's how it goes, which I'm sure a lot of you deal with also. Just rabbits, if not rabbits, deer, if not deer, it's always something else. And lastly, I have this little area right over here in front of my Sweet Tucker viburnum. This is all things that I have grown from seed. I have some zinnias in here and some cosmos that are coming. Hopefully they will begin to really grow. This is the tall blue planet ageratum, looking a little bit floppy. I might have to come in and stake that up a little bit. But what an easy annual to grow from seed. Looking so pretty. This is butterfly weed that I grew from seed that is not putting on flowers. Maybe I'll get flowers next year. It gets bright orange flowers, a great attractor for the butterflies and pollinators in general. Some more zinnias, and I did notice that I have my first zinnia flower blooming in here, which is very exciting. Just a pretty light pink hiding back in here. So cute. I see some staking that I need to do in this bed. Some zinnias are really kind of flopping over, maybe some chipping back, but hopefully this little area will start to put on some nice color for me. in the next upcoming weeks and the rabbits stay away. So that is, I believe, everything that I wanted to show you in the backyard here. I am quite sweaty. It is very humid, but yeah, things are looking pretty well. I cannot believe how humid it is. It's another very humid day. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me for this beginning of July garden tour. I appreciate you walking around with me and just spending your time with me just to see what is going on out here in my gardens, in my yard. I love hearing from you. As always, please leave me comments and let me know how you are doing, what's going on in your gardens. I just love interacting with you guys. It's what really makes this thing special and more meaningful for me and for you. So I hope that you guys are having a good week and that you have had a good week. This will probably be out on Saturday is my hope, and that you have a great weekend, and I will hopefully talk to you soon. All right, bye.